Who wants to ring in the new year here, so to speak?
If you would stop fucking making noise. Yeah.
Shut the fuck. Okay, this is like actual unicorn juice, so I can't drink that one yet.
Yeah, did you like
cotton candy? That'll work.
Did you see the other one?
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure this is.
No, this is the second one.
Oh yeah.
It's Froze Rose.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. I grabbed the pink, the brightest unicorn jizziest ones I could.
But I'm pretty sure this one is the one that you said what the unicorn is. So we're great. This is all staying in. If Daniel removes this, reminder to beat him to death. All right. So official intro. Hey guys.
Hey.
We're playing Minecraft, but we're playing it on my computer, so you may notice some weirdness going on.
Will notices it, but he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So currently you're in survival mode. So
okay, I think I'm gonna stay that way.
Okay,
this
cool.
Is world options, right?
Yeah.
Where's my bonus chest? Is that this one? No, that's
that's the one to the right.
All right, this one.
Yep.
All right, cool. I want a bonus chest.
Okay, that's on now.
You know what I just thought?
All right.
This is the first time all three of us have been together in the same room for a recording in like 6 months.
That is true.
For everyone's knowledge, we're of course socially distanced.
So I want to. So the reason we're playing Minecraft is that I'm about to get real weird over here.
So let's give you some context. Shush.
Okay.
Before you rant. So Keegan, we want to do a recording, and originally we were gonna do something else, but then he was like, "Okay, Will, you're coming over. We're coming over. I have a rant. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. We're just gonna do it, and then we're gonna do something else."
Yep. Okay. So I want to explain that last night I wasn't able to go to sleep. So it's like 1 a.m. I'm sitting in bed. You know, I'm all tucked in. I have my pajamas on. And all that. Yeah, I drank my milk, but I still wasn't going to sleep. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to watch some Netflix. So I started scrolling through Netflix, and I'm like, oh, this show looks interesting. I remember this show. I watched it when I was a kid with my brother, and like I used to run home from middle school, and he used to run home from elementary school. Like it was like right when I was like in 6th grade or 5th grade or something like that. So I was like, I want to see if this show still holds up.
Okay.
So I shit you not. I watched this show. It is the most batshit opening I have ever seen.
What show is it?
I'm not going to tell you until you read.
Don't get to know.
I made notes on like the fucking plot.
God.
I have plotted out the entire thing. Now what I want Daniel to read without my comment my notes, and I want to see if you guys can guess what show I'm talking about.
Okay. Theme song: Prom Report. Bitch bullying whining girl, Ulrich being dude bro about it, cut to nerd girl cybering fake girlfriend, cut to whiny girl crying in room, then storming off, cut to everyone calling Ulrich a douche canoe,
douche canoe,
cut to whiny girl crying in shed, smoke monster possesses teddy bear.
Jesus, what were they?
I feel like I know what this is. Now I might know what this is. Weird bitch room scene. Like a slasher scene in a kid's show, Predator Vision. Bitch is like half naked in front of the student body with her pictures being taken. The scene is low-key really fucked up. Main group goes investigating and says, "Yep, no weird shit here." Cut the teddy...
Fuck my dog, keep going.
Cut the teddy bear missing, and Jim the fat nude Jersey coach berating kids. Cut to incriminating photos and odd creeping up to this kids.
This kids.
Yes. Cut to Jim getting jumped by the now 30-foot tall ninja bear. Cut to odd investigates room.
Oh my god.
Immediately cut back to Jim in principal and nurse's office, and Odd being a creeper, rummaging through some trash.
I can't even play to this. This is that bad.
Keep going.
Cut to I'm a day student. Bye. Cut to yep, teddy bear problem. Solo mission / volunteer. Oh yeah, time reversal. Sweet as.
Oh yeah.
Sweet as what? Sweet. What is that? Is that supposed to be 2000s? What is that?
Oh yeah, sweet ass 2000s.
Extreme montage to get computer thing.
Oh yeah, I can picture that. That is vivid.
Horrible CGI. Odds of furry. Bear escape. Oh shit. Goth girlfriend. Attacked by weird potato monsters. Goth girlfriend in bath, frantic doorbell, suddenly fully dressed. Let's escape down the mysterious hole. By the way, odd psychic. Shit, this fucking bear is Jurassic Park. Twoing it up.
Jurassic Park 2ing it up.
Not even part 2. Twoing. We have to save the students. Tone deaf, meet cute. Hey, look at this convenient hole in the wall. Holy shit, it's Indiana Jones time. Ulrich and prom. Jim tells him he looks like a bum. Oh yeah, that weird beauty pageant subplot is back. Pinball is a death machine, and they need to turn off a tower or some shit. Ulrich really says a giant teddy bear is attacking guys, and people are like, fuck you, dude. This giant teddy bear destroys Jim. Ulrich almost fucking dies, and Goth girlfriend hangs out outside like a total bitch. Odd fucks around with a death machine forever, and somehow shoots it into a wall with a tiny arrow. Ulrich still almost getting killed, and fake girlfriend takes like 4 minutes to fly up this tower thing. Holy shit, they just reversed time. Ulrich, a teenager, agrees to take a whiny girl, a child, to prom. And finally, they bully bitch for being sweet to get back at her for bullying. Sweet message, France.
Yeah.
What?
By the way, they bully bitch for being stupid to get back at her for bullying. Sweet message, France. All right, Daniel, you think you know what this is? Give it a shot.
It's not Code Lyoko, is it?
It is exactly. It is season 1, episode 1, titled Teddy Godzilla of Code Lyoko.
I mean, I remember it with fond memories, but I don't remember that.
Okay, so this is why I'm doing this. This show is fucking batshit. Like, I remember as a kid, I was like, this show is awesome. And looking back at it, I can see everything that kid me thought was awesome. But now we just have to talk about this. So, starting with theme song, fancy plot, smoke machine, I don't care. Do some edits here, Daniel. Theme song.
Okay.
So the theme song of Code Lyoko, do you remember what it is?
I don't remember it, but I remember like the opening sequence.
Oh yeah, so it's like, it's got like this sweet kind of like, it's like this weird thing. It has like this sweet synth / like drum beat like song music to it, which is like really cool and like fits in with like the theme. And like when they play it without the chick singing,
yeah,
for the entire opening segment, like it's pretty good actually. Like it's almost like a 4Kids Dragon Ball, or not Dragon Ball, Digimon Frontier levels of like man, this is really cool. And then when they cut to her singing, and it's like, and I can't even describe the lyrics to you because it's like, this is the English theme song, which I don't know if it's also the French theme song. I can't even begin to process it. So like, when I was watching it, I got about 10 seconds in because it just gets like super really weird and cringy when like the lady starts singing and like just all the visuals. So I was just like, fuck this, skip it. Starts right away. It's like this weird, so like normally when you start a TV show, right? Like your first episode, especially with an ensemble cast, like what you do is you try to establish like who your main central character is going to be. Even like in an ensemble cast like Digimon or whatever, they always show like Tai or like, you know, whatever. And like Ash gets his own first episode and all that, right?
Yeah.
So like typically you do that, then you establish like the stakes and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's like your first couple of episodes of a show, you're like, or your first episode, you're like, here's the main character, here's kind of the supporting cast, here's the plot that's going along with this thing, you know, and like here's all the little bits of information you need to know. This show doesn't do any of that. It's just like, it cuts to like this person filming something. And they're like, time to do our little journalism report. Oh, the camera's upside down. Ha 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 ha. And like, they flip it on, and they turn it on, and they do like a slow pan. And it's a little girl. So like, immediately when this starts, you're like, okay, prom. Is this set in a high school? That's cool. Sweet. You're hit by like the various, like the way the animation looks. Show looks good still when it's animated for the most part.
Yeah.
Like the backgrounds and everything still hold up. Looks good. Well, like all that. But then you get hit with the character designs. There is more forehead in this show than I think exists on the planet Earth in reality.
I don't know. Dragon Ball Z pushes those foreheads pretty far, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Code Lyoko, their foreheads are fucking ginormous.
That's like a 6 head.
And my boy Odd is like 12 or 13 and he already has like receding hairline. Like his hair doesn't start until like it's on top of his head.
They are friends. They
So it starts off with this report that that they're talking about prom. So immediately, as like you assume this is like an English localization or something,
what is
right?
This world?
So immediately,
you chose this world.
Yeah. So
Japan chose it.
like immediately, you're like this. They must be in high school, right? Prom is high school. Otherwise, you'd call this a dance. They cut to this chick doing the report. She's like 8. Maybe. Tops. She's 8.
She's a really good student.
And you're like, what the fuck is going on? And she's like hanging outside in like I assume like the entryway into this gymnasium or whatever. It's got like a bookcase in it or something. It's really fucking weird looking.
Hey, you can't discriminate the French based on their school buildings.
I guess so. But for some reason she's like we aren't allowed to film inside the actual gymnasium yet because for some fucking reason. So I'm out here, but I can already see
that's not the problem.
The leading
different problem.
Just vibing here.
She's like, but we can see the presumed Miss Beauty pageant winner of this year, and you're like immediately like, what the fuck? And like during the scene, you're introduced to Dude Bro Ulrich, who's like him and Odd are like the only 2 characters I'm 100% sure of their fucking names because they're said like 85 times and they're fucking weird ass names. So like,
I would say they're French, but they're
so he's like doing something on like a ladder, I guess. It's not really clear what he's doing,
okay.
but he's like leaning on a ladder. He's kind of like hanging out, and then bitch walks out, and like bitch is supposed to be like the most prettiest girl in school, and so like immediately she's like, for some reason, I forget why, she starts just like fucking bullying this little girl and calling her ugly and like completely undesirable.
I don't think you remember high school very well, Keegan. That's exactly what it's like.
Okay, but like I don't remember bullying at a fucking 8-year-old when I was 13. I didn't see the sport in it. But like it's like some serious like it's just like some serious shade that she's throwing at this little girl. And, like, for some reason, she tells this little girl, like, oh, yeah, you're fucking ugly, and, like, no guy would ever like you, so just, like, ask out whoever. So, little girl turns to our boy Ulrich, who's, like, clearly older than her. Like, she's clearly 8. He's maybe, like, benefit of the doubt, he's at youngest, like, 11, okay? But he looks like he's, like, solidly into his teenage years. He's, like, 13 or 14. I guess that's not solidly, but like he's clearly like
he's starting out.
Yeah, he's like maybe half a decade older than this girl, and she's like, "Would you like to go to prom with me?" And my boy Ulrich, for like he dude bros this, but he like gives some legitimate reasons. He's like, you know, I think that's kind of a bad idea, whiny girl, because like I'm too old for you. Valid point. Like he's
solid argument.
Like maybe not if you were 20. Like if we're talking 25 and 30, but like we're talking like 14 and 8. So like solid argument. And then he's like, and I already asked out Goth girlfriend to go to the prom with me, and she like just walks down the ladder into frame. So like this ladder is fucking massively tall. That this full.
I'm assuming it's going all the way to the top of the gymnasium.
I guess so, but I feel like there's like later an establishing shot where the ladder is not this tall, but like full grown like girl, like teenage girl walks down into frame, and it's like so whiny girl goes like running off about it. Immediately cut to nerdy guy in his dorm room, and he's like talking on the computer, and he's like fake girlfriend girl, and like now we cut to god awful early 2000s CGI
as per usual,
and like oh man, I'm like snotting it up in here. I'm fucking.
Please don't blow your snot on me.
Well, whatever. You're gonna get the fucking Rona while I talk about a kid's show from the mid 2000s. So like he like is talking with her. And I kid you not, like, it comes off as, like, they're flirting or something. And I don't know if she's into it or, like, it's just him. But he's like, hey, baby, soon I'm going to figure out how to, like, bring you to our world. And she's like, oh, really? You found the secret to materialization or something like that? That's great. And he's like, nah, not yet, but I'm working
on that out.
I'm working on it, you know.
Wow, that's a big.
So
big
put a pin in that because we're going to come back and talk about this later.
Yeah, I vaguely remember there being like.
So then we immediately cut to like there's no like when I say cut to, I mean like the scene just like the scene ends like they just like chop the ending of the scene off. So like we just immediately smash to whiny girl's like on her bed crying. An unnamed, I'm pretty sure, black best friend girl comes in and is like, "Don't listen to that bitch. She's a bitch." And then whiny girl is like, "I fucking hate everybody. Everybody sucks. I'm embarrassed and I hate everything."
But since it's a kid's show, we can't have a suicide.
Yeah. We'll get into that. There's some weird stuff that happens for this being a kid's show.
But wait.
So
it is
so
French.
black best friend girl also was like working with her on the prom report. So she's like, "Hey, Jim, character we don't know about, Jim, he's going to give us he's going to give us till like midnight or something to get this report done." Which like the dance is that night, so I don't know what they're reporting on.
Yeah,
but she's like, "I don't want to fucking talk to anybody and fuck this prom thing. It's fucking worthless. Nobody cares anyway." And so she storms away. As she's running out, we immediately cut to Ulrich like laying some tape or something down on the ground. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing.
Marking out a body.
I thought you were gonna say laying some
like he just has like a roll of clear tape. Like it's clearly clear tape, and he's just like laying it on something. And he's like, "I feel kind of bad about turning that girl down." And everyone's like, "Yeah, man, you could have been like much more cool about that." And I'm sitting here like an adult viewer, and I'm like, "You were pretty cool about that. Like you weren't like, ew, no, you have cooties. You're like, here are some legitimate, grown-up, mature reasons."
I have a hot, big titty goth girlfriend.
Well, she's not big tittied, but he's like, I asked out this other girl, which I'm like, that's fair.
Okay,
you asked out this other girl.
Monogamy.
And like you gotta honor that, like you asked her out, and then I'm too old for you. Like to me, I'm like, those are two legitimate reasons on why you don't want to go to prom with this little girl.
Yeah.
And like you're being mature. Like you're not like I don't know how much softer you can let this girl down. But goth girlfriend is like grilling him about this. She's like, you know, you could have just said yes. I wouldn't have mind. So like immediately I'm like, if I'm Ulrich, I'm like, what the fuck, bitch? You wouldn't have mind? Yeah, like, why are you going with me? Like that makes it sound like you don't give a shit about going to this dance with me.
Yeah, that's a solid feeling.
But then we immediately, once again, cut to whiny girl. She's in this shed crying, like talking to her teddy bear. And I'm like, this is like further proving Ulrich's point, right? Like if the girl is this mature that she runs off into a fucking shed
with a teddy bear,
with her teddy bear, and is like talking to her teddy bear in the shed, she clearly doesn't need to go to the fucking school prom. Right? Like, you're too young. You need to, like, stay home and watch Pokemon or something.
Besides, isn't prom only for, like, seniors?
It's for juniors and seniors, typically. But, like, even if it's, like, the school dance / beauty pageant thing, fucking weird. It's not like Homecoming Queen. It's a legitimate beauty pageant thing, supposedly.
They take it real seriously.
In France, apparently.
So, like, I gotta recatch my
point. In the comments
but, like, so, remember... While I've been talking, it's been like 2 or 3 minutes. In the show itself, it's been 30 seconds since she stormed out and said, "I don't want to do this prom thing, this prom report. It's worthless." Black girlfriend finds her, black best friend.
Hey, maybe they are.
Maybe they are. I don't know. If not, I think black best friend is like halfway in between Ulrich / main cast and whiny girl, so it's still kind of like inappropriate, but maybe not as much.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, come on, we should really go do this prom thing." And, like, the girl who was crying 30 seconds earlier and was like, "No, fuck this, and Teddy, you're the only person in this world that understands me, yada, yada, yada," is like, "Okay, I guess we should do that. Totally fine." And she's like, "I'm going to leave my teddy bear in this weird-ass fucking shed out in the middle of fucking nowhere."
I have a question for you. Is this, like, the pilot episode? Or is
this is the
like,
pilot.
The pilot episode is supposed to be, like... an actual episode of the show.
I looked this up. The pilot episode, like the explanation prequel episodes, don't happen until, on Netflix at least, till the last 2 episodes of the 3rd season.
The hell?
This is what I'm saying. This is fucking bonkers. So they leave the teddy bear in the shed, which immediately I'm like, who does this? What human being would leave their precious possession in this clearly fucking garden shed with like fucking pesticides and like piles of dirt and shit.
She wants like great asbestos in her.
She like leaves it next to like a fucking dirty ass wheelbarrow, And then, like, they leave, and then, like, a fucking smoke monster comes out of fucking nowhere and possesses the teddy bear. Now, so far, I didn't mention this, but, like, when he was talking to fake girlfriend, when Nerdy Guy was talking to fake girlfriend, he mentioned this character called Xana. So, like, we're led to believe, I think, that this is Xana, but we have, like, no confirmation of this.
Yeah, the context clues are non-existent, really.
So then we cut to bitch going into her room with her 2 lackey guys, and she's unlocking it, and they're like, nah. They're like Beavis and Butthead or some shit like that. Like, no shit.
They walk and go, meh.
She's like, oh, I don't need anybody. And soon Ulfric will be like all about diving onto me because I'm the prettiest girl in school, and he needs to go to the prom with me. So immediately you're like, oh, okay, she's into Ulrich. That's pretty good. But then, like, the 2 guys are like, yeah, and she's like, are you gonna follow me into my room? Like, that's kind of creepy. And they're like, actually, we were wondering, bitch, if you would. And she's like, shut the fuck up. And she goes into her room. And here's where it gets weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so this is a kid's show, right? So it immediately cuts to her, like, sitting on her bed. But it's not, like, her just sitting there. It cuts to, like, some weird-ass predator vision of, like, something underneath her bed looking at her legs.
That's
as she takes her clothes off.
Oh, nice.
And then the scene proceeds with this maybe 13-year-old girl in her underwear animated. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this scene? This is a kid's show.
I thought this was a kid's show.
Me too. But it's fucking weird. Because, like, this girl's just in her underwear for, like, the next minute and a half. This is, like, the first full-fledged scene that is, like, actually played out since the beginning scene. That has gone on for longer than, like, 15 seconds.
I remember Code Lyoko very fondly. I don't remember any of this shit.
Okay.
See, for me, Code Lyoko is just, like, a distant memory in the back of my head that I don't remember anything of it.
So the scene persists of, like, the weird predator vision thing, like, moving across the room and stalking the girl. So it's like an 80s slasher scene, like a Friday the 13th scene or something, where, like, you'd be, like, in Jason's eyes as he's, like, chasing down the kids about to have sex in the abandoned cabin, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's that kind of scene. And then, like the payoff is that, like, I think, like, some shelves fall or something next to her because she can hear it, and she, like, screams, and she's like, oh, what the fuck? Then we cut to her in, like, her fucking, like, robe, barely covering herself up with, like, her fucking, like, she had, like, put on, like, a face mask or something in the middle of, like, the school commons with, like, the principal, who I guess is her dad, just hanging out with, like, his arm around her while, like, the rest of the student body is around her. Like, bear in mind, she is not wearing normal clothes. Yeah. She's in her underwear and, like, holding a robe up against her body.
Oh, just
and whiny bitch is there with her camera taking pictures in the front row. So that's why I'm like, this scene is, like, low-key really fucked up in that, like, this girl just suffered, like, a traumatic incident.
Yeah.
And she's half naked, and the principal, who's her father, has her out in the middle where all the student body can see her being hysterical and allowing people to take pictures. Like, it's not like she's in the back or hiding it. She, like, whiny girl is in the front row of this student body taking pictures with the flash on.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
So then, like, we cut to, like, our main trio, I guess, or, like, our quadruo or whatever, of Ulrich, goth girlfriend, nerdy guy, and this dude named Odd. Odd has, like, anime protagonist look.
100%?
To 100. Like, he has 2-colored hair, his hair starts up weird, and everybody's, like, you can tell he's kind of, like, I think he's supposed to be younger, because he's kind of shorter than everybody else. But they're all like, man, this sounds like some sketchy shit. You think this is Xana or whatever? And, like, they're like, well, we should go investigate it just to be sure because you can never know when Xana attacks. So clearly it's like, okay, so Xana does some weird shit, and, like,
for some reason these 4 kids know.
Yeah, and for some reason these 4 kids know about it, but, like, they know that Xana does this weird shit. Okay, hold on, I need to take a drink of my bang.
He likes to be a real weird pervert and fuck with kids.
Apparently. So they go to her. They investigate her room, where her room is just, like, wide open. Like, there's no, like, tape or anything over her door either.
I forget. Do they live in, like, a dorm situation?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Which will come up later.
That's kind of what I thought, but I couldn't remember.
So, like, her door is just open to the hall, so anybody walking down can see this girl's private area.
Yeah.
Which, bear in mind, earlier when she told Beavis and Butthead to fuck off, she opened her door with a key.
Yeah.
So like clearly there's like some expectation of privacy, but they don't give a fuck. And they like look in and there's like some like collapsed shelving and like I think like her computer monitor is cracked or something. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And like these people who are investigating this weird stuff and they're like, man, this Xana guy could come in. They just like poke their heads in. They're like, I bet it was an electrical short circuit. And then like goth girlfriend's like, yeah, a computer, a lady's razor, a cell phone, all that plugged into one circuit. Yeah, that would short circuit. Yep, nothing weird here. Yeah, let's go back to the gym and keep setting up prom decorations. So then we cut to whiny girl and black best friend go back to the shed. For some reason. Like, they haven't finished the prom report. I don't think.
There hasn't been a prom report on it.
They haven't finished the prom report or anything, so they're going back to the shed for some reason. They're going to go pick up the teddy bear, which I'm like, why didn't you take the teddy bear back to your room? Or whatever. But whatever. So they go back. Teddy bear's missing. And they're like, what happened to Teddy? So like now we know, oh yeah, the smoke monster wasn't enough. The teddy bear's the key. It's doing some weird fucking shit. Cut to, and then like while they're in there, then this character named Jim. And Daniel's going to have to put up a photo of Jim in the edit here.
Yeah.
Just Google it, Jim Kodlyoko. He may not look like this way, but the way he looked to me is he looked like he was about to become Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force following like the second his wife divorces him, he's going to go move to New Jersey and like live next to some fucking like Happy Meals, you know. Like, he, like, has classic mid-2000s tracksuit on. I'm pretty sure he's wearing, like, socks and sandals or something. And he's like, what have I told you little kids about, like, playing in the garden shed? This shit's dangerous. It's full of pesticides and shit. Which I'm like, why don't you lock the door to the garden shed? Why are you, like, what do you do at this school that, like, you're in charge of the garden shed? Because you look like you're the gym teacher and your name is Jim. So, like, that'd be a pun, I guess.
Not a good one, but you know.
But like it would exist. So like, why are you also the gardener?
Keegan, can I ask what this enchanted book is?
Enchant No Hone looks like Insect Slayer 2.
Oh, Bane of Arthropods. All right.
Yeah, Bane of Arthropods.
Oh, I love it.
And like he's just like berating these kids, and he's like, don't go playing in this fucking shed, and they're like, yes, Jim. So I think this scene only exists to introduce us to Jim, because like there's been no introduction. We've heard his name dropped once, and now we got Jim, the fucking New Jersey gym coach. So we cut to the kids are now like looking at incriminating photos. They're like out by they've now moved over to the commons where like bitch girl was like publicly shamed for having a traumatic experience.
It still sounds like high school.
Like they're sitting down and they're crouching down. They're like, man, where's my teddy bear? And like they go through these photos of like bitch girl's like room, like all of her private spaces and like her body in like various stages of undress. Really creepy, these photos. Like no editor's ever publishing this stuff out of like fear for the victim. But they see the teddy bear underneath her pillow, which is weird because we never see the teddy bear attacked under her pillow again. So bear in mind, it's been like, it's hard to tell how much time has passed. Maybe a half hour since the girl was attacked, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe up to an hour. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It's been an hour. So then my boy Odd.
Oh my God,
an army.
Sorry, Keegan.
Odd like creeps up on these little girls, and he's like, "What's happening, little girls? What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, I think my teddy." He sees a photo. He's like, "Your teddy bear is stuck in that room. Well, give me that photo, and I'm gonna go check it out." And the little girls are like, "Thanks, Odd." And I'm just like,
Keegan,
why?
Where is Odd from?
I don't fucking know where Odd is from.
In your head.
In your head, what are you thinking? Where he's from?
He's from like fucking Denmark or something. Okay, I don't know.
That's quite the Denmarkian accent you got, man.
Okay, well he's like creeping.
I guess I fucked with them a little.
That is not what his actual voice sounds like, but like in my head as I retell this story, this is what Odd sounds like because he's kind of creepy. So Odd is like, okay, I'm gonna go find that bear for you, and they're like, okay, Odd. Cut to Jim, he's like opening up some doors to like, I think the actual gym. So Jim, the New Jersey coach, is opening doors to the gym.
Oh, Jim.
Yeah. And then he like hears something and he's like, what the fuck is going on back there? I'll have you know, I know Kung Fu or some shit. And like we can see like the shadow of something. And it's like the teddy bear has gone from being a normal sized teddy bear to being 30 fucking feet tall with no fucking explanation. And it somehow managed to get across campus with nobody noticing and has stealthily snuck up on fucking Jim. Put a pin in it. We're going to come back to it.
We're going to come back to it.
The Kung Fu gym teacher from New Jersey.
Yeah, apparently he has like a black belt in karate or something.
Keegan, should I be taking notes on what exactly we're coming back to? Because I think the list is growing.
Yeah, is there a test at the end of this?
Yes. So then we cut to Odd. Literally, this is like a 5-second cutaway of Odd like looks in the room and he has the photo. He's like, no teddy bear here. We cut back to Jim now in the nurse's office, like bundled up. He's got like, so this is actually like a funny scene. I'll give him credit. This scene's actually funny. Jim is like a full grown man. Like he's like bundled up in this little nurse's bed, this little twin bed. He's like all bundled up. He's got like the covers like bunched up under his chin. Like principal man is like sitting there. And he's like, you say this is the thing that attacked you? And it like goes down to like a really crudely hand drawn teddy bear. And like Jim's just like nodding his head. He's like, well, this is clearly bullshit. Hey, Jim, we're not going to tell the police about this because this is stupid. And then he goes out and he runs into Odd. And he's like, Odd, what the fuck are you doing here? Why aren't you doing whatever the fuck you're supposed to be doing since this is a school? You know, this is supposed to be a school or whatever. And Odd's like, I just heard that Jim was attacked and I wanted to make sure he's okay. And the principal's like, fuck off, Odd. Go do whatever you need to do. And so he like crumbles up whatever was in his hand. Odd never saw it. Bear in mind, Odd has no idea what the fuck the principal has in his hand.
No reason to suspect.
He like bundles it up and he throws it in the trash and he leaves. And then Odd just goes creeping into the trash. Like he has no reason to believe that like the principal didn't like name drop in like the conversation or something like he didn't like look down at the paper. I'm like, yeah, but I think that Jim is just going through a hard time or something.
I think Jim had a bit of a mental breakdown.
You know, whatever. So Odd just creeps into like the principal's trash for some reason, and he sees the giant teddy bear, and he's like, the dots have been connected. So we cut back to them in the prom, like setting up the prom, okay? And Goth's girlfriend, who by the way, I think her name is like Yumi or Yami.
Of course.
The reason I think that is like in my brain, I was like, oh, like Yami Yugi, like she's gonna like bust out her dual disc and like.
Turns out she's not a goth. She's just a weeb.
Yeah. We'll get to that. So
how are you even like a quarter of the way through your notes?
I think we're almost halfway through the show.
Jesus Christ!
Real quick cut. Can you tell me why
all
I'm
has
lagging
happened
on a single player game?
Because my computer's a fucking piece of shit.
And we're recording at the same time.
Yeah, we're recording, and this is Minecraft built in a Java shell.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So like, there's no RAM.
Every once in a while. What is your RAM? Let's take a look.
It's like 12 gigabytes of RAM.
I see 2 gigs allocated.
Okay.
Which is usually acceptable for Minecraft.
Yeah, whatever. So like Yumi is like doing something, you know, whatever. Like I want to describe to you that like all their prom tasks aren't like engaging like putting up streamers or anything. They're just like generically hanging out, like occasionally like cutting tape or something, and like leaning on ladders and shit. Like they aren't actually doing anything.
Oh, of course.
So she's like, well, I gotta go home and get ready for prom. I guess you guys don't have to leave, and you know these are the problems of being a day student. Haha. And like you're like, what the fuck do you mean a day student? And then Ulrich's like, she's talking to Ulrich, and Ulrich's like, yeah, well at least you don't have to wake up next to smelly Odd. And he like leave, and then like we cut away from the scene, and I'm like, that's kind of a shitty move.
Yeah.
Like Odd's supposedly your friend. Like don't get me wrong, I'm a shitty friend. Like you guys have heard about how I talk to Daniel.
Yeah. We know.
And you
but
guys
like Ulrich is like me, okay? Like Ulrich is being like kind of a douche. This is a recurring theme for this show.
So is it for our series?
Yeah, so I think this is supposed to set up that Yumi is leaving. So like Goth girlfriend is gone. So like the 4 musketeers are now the 3 musketeers.
Okay.
So we cut to like them outside with like Odd and Nerd Guy and Ulrich, and they're like, yeah, this teddy bear thing, this has to be Zana. And they're like, okay, well we should go investigate that because clearly because some bad shit could happen.
Fucking with people.
And they casually drop here. They're like, even if time is reversed, like, if something bad happens, that won't help much. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, even if time is reversed? Is time reversal a fucking thing?
Is that just a common occurrence?
You guys can travel backwards in time? Like, what the fuck? Like, how are you guys supposed to fight this?
Figure out how to get your
and bear in mind,
out of the TV.
Yeah, believe me. So Odd's like, well, we should go investigate. And Nerd Guy's like, nah, man, that's super dangerous going in alone, because you never know what's going to happen over there. And so then Odd immediately is like, well, I volunteer. And I'm like, what? What the fuck?
Oh, yes, okay.
So I was like, Nerd Guy, you're supposed to go in, and like you didn't assume Odd was going to do that, or like Odd, like what the fuck? Like what? Like I'm not kidding. Odd brings it up. We should go. They're like, no, going in alone is bad. And Odd's like, well, I'm going to do it. Like I'll do it. And they're like,
sure, I'm going to die.
Like I don't understand the thought process. Like they clearly were telling Odd, no, you can't go in alone because it's dangerous. And Odd's like, well, I volunteer to do it.
Clearly,
and they're like, what? Like. But then, like, here's the weird part, is they're like, you know what? That sounds like a great idea, Odd.
Odd.
Solid choice.
We love you, you're an idiot, but go for it.
And Oric's like, well, somebody's got to stay here and look out for the teddy bear problem in case, like, somebody gets hurt. And like, cool. So here is maybe the greatest thing about this show. Uh-huh. How they get to their supercomputer is the most mid-2000s montage available.
Yeah, so isn't it also like the opening sequence after this episode is like when they go into it or something?
I don't remember.
I think it is. It's some form of it.
So here's what happens. They kick in, like, it shows them like opening a door down into like a fucking like hand-carved tunnel. I'm not shitting you. It's like a hand-carved tunnel or something that goes down into the sewers. And they like step over some broken grates to get into the sewers. These sewers are fucking massive, by the way. They're like mid-2000s like superhero comic book sewers, where like
the Ninja Turtles are down there.
Yeah, and like speaking of the Ninja Turtles, they run over and there's like 3 skateboards in a scooter on the side of the wall.
That's awesome.
And so like Odd grabs one of the skateboards, and Nerd Guy, because he's Nerd Guy, gets the fucking scooter. Like, I'm like, why don't you just give him another skateboard? Why does he have to have a fucking scooter? So like, Odd, like,
he has preferences,
so now they're like,
Keegan.
They're like mid-2000s extreme skateboarding through the fucking sewers. Then they get out of the sewers and they climb up onto a bridge.
This is in reality. It's just a strange episode of Rocket League.
I don't know. So now they're on the bridge. And they're like walking over into like an abandoned warehouse district or something. And then there's like some fucking ropes hanging from the ceiling in front of them. And they get on the ropes and they like half slide, half swing down to the floor of the warehouse.
Why is this reminding me?
To get into a warehouse elevator.
Why is this reminding me of the Tarzan world in Kingdom Hearts?
It's kind of like that. So then they're in this cargo elevator and they go down the cargo elevator. And then they get, I think, I'm not quite sure how the elevator situation works here, but I think it's the same elevator, but it could be a different one. They now get to, like, the world's most sophisticated-looking supercomputer mechanism that's, like, 2 floors. There's, like, one that's, like, a holographic thing with, like, a chair that Nerd Guy sits in.
Isn't there, like a weird, like, saw-like chair kind of thing?
Yeah, it's, like, fucking bizarre, and he, like, sits down in the chair, and then Odd goes a floor below where there's, like, fucking pods. So, like, Odd steps into one, and they're like, okay, time to digitize. And so Odd is digitized and materializes into the other world. So this is where that first pen, where we talked about him not being able to materialize the girl, comes from. Because for some reason, he and his, not explained, by the way, by the show in the first episode, he can send Odd into whatever this CGI world is.
What's happening?
But he can't pull fake girlfriend out of the world. But supposedly, Odd can come back out. So I don't know if it's like full on isekai, or if it's like just like a virtual avatar they're inserting his consciousness into. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but it's really unclear. And at this point, you're like, okay, is he like physically there? Because it kind of looks like it. Like it's kind of implied that he physically is transported to this world.
Doesn't one of them have a tail?
Yes, we're gonna get into that.
Someone's a furry, I know that.
Yeah, because Odd's a furry, because when Odd comes in, he has fucking, like, cat paws and a fucking tail.
Of course.
Like, he's like full on ready to go to the furry convention.
There's one in every mid-2000s.
Yeah, and you're just like, what the fuck? What the fuck am I watching at this point? Like, the show has gone completely off the rails.
I don't think it was ever on the rails.
And he like meets up, I think he meets up with fake girlfriend who's like alive in the world, and they start talking about towers, and they're like hanging out in this giant pit. And you're like, what the fuck is a tower? What is going on? Like, what is here? So then we come back to Ulrich, and Ulrich's on like a walkie-talkie, so he can hear, like, I think like he can somehow communicate with Odd and Nerd Guy. I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Oh yeah, he has like this weird, it's not even like, it's like a weird like earpiece.
Yeah, it's like a walkie-talkie or something, so it's like the fucking Secret Service.
It's like an old-fashioned like Bluetooth kind of thing where you clip it on your
So
ear.
like he's like, bad news guys, looks like the teddy bear has escaped from the school. There's a fucking massive hole. Like, the police would be called because people would be like, what the fuck is that? Like, it looks like a fucking terrorist attack has occurred at this fence. And like,
but let's leave it up to a couple of little French
I forget who. I think it's like fake girlfriend's like, well, you know, if that's really Xana, which at this point I'm like, is there another weird fucking creature guy attacking that we should be aware of that this could be?
Is this pretty often? A common occurrence here?
Like, is there a lot of people who possess teddy bears and make them fucking Godzilla or whatever? But they're like, oh, this, like, he'll go after stuff that he hates or some shit like that. And immediately Ulrich's like, oh no, goth girlfriend. And he like starts running.
He hates my goth girlfriend.
Yeah. So then we cut back to the CGI thing. And now they're getting attacked by weird... So, like, they're like, we gotta go find this tower. And we're over this big, gigantic hole.
Like, isn't there weird, like, Metroid-style monsters in that?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. These are these weird potato monsters that are, like, half, like, spider crab, half potato. There's, like, 4 of them that come and attack. And they're like, oh, no, Xana knows we're here and he's attacking us. Which I'm like, those things really don't look that threatening.
You, Mr. Furry Man, I think you're fine.
Yeah, and, like... So, like, my assumption, looking at him, was like, oh, he uses, like, his furry claws or whatever and, like, attacks people with his hands. No, he, like, shoots an arrow or some shit out of his hand. And it's like he has, like, an arm cannon or something that's, like, attached to his hand, and he shoots arrows out of them, and that's his attack. And you're like, why do you look like a cat, then? Is that, like, a personal preference thing where you stuck like that and, like, you have to apologize profusely?
No.
You feel
what
weird?
happened was when he was going through the character creator, he accidentally hit enter. He can't go back and
did he like accidentally hit randomize at the last second?
Yeah. And you can't stop it, or else you have to restart all your progress.
So we're in the middle of this.
That's
Like, I think it's supposed to be high tension fight, but it isn't because it's like 4 dudes, and Odd clearly should have this to some degree. But we cut back, and so Ulrich gets to Goth Girlfriend's house.
Yeah.
And she's clearly now Japanese. Because her last name is like a Japanese, it's like Yoshikawa or something like that, and her first name's like Yumi. So you're like, okay, she's Japanese. The second part is that she's like, her bathtub is like full-on Japanese style, massive bathtub. So somewhere in here, we've cut to her like in her bathtub. Like I said, kid show, 13-year-old girl, she's naked in her bathtub. It's fucking weird. And he starts like mashing the doorbell. He's like ding 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 ding, and she's like, oh fuck, somebody's here at my door. Let me get out of the bathtub, put on my towel. So at this point you're like, man, this show has like a really weird obsession with getting these 13-year-old girls out of their clothes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is what happens when French people think they can do Japanese things.
But then immediately it cuts to her opening the door. Mm-hmm. She like puts on her towel, then she opens the door, fully clothed.
Oh, what?
And in a different outfit. Like she's like she just ran down to, like either she was spent 5 minutes getting dressed while some maniac is like mashing her doorbell outside.
Did she like pull a Patrick where she like ripped her robe off and she had a suit underneath? Like, oh shit, wrong one, and ripped it again. And
I'll give the character designer credit here because I kind of ragged on him for like the forehead thing. Whoever their character designer is, both the main girl characters, bitch girl and goth girlfriend, do have several different outfits throughout the course of this show.
What? That can happen.
Or through this episode. So it's like there was some thought put it in Jim too. Jim has a different outfit, and we'll get into that. But like so people do actually change clothes in this show. So like there's your credit if you're watching this, creator of this fucking fever dream of where was I?
That's a good question.
So she's suddenly dressed.
Yeah.
And he like grabs her by the hand, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing here, bro?" And he like grabs her by the hand, and he's like, "We gotta get out of here." We cut to like Odd and Girl are now like overwhelmed by like 3 fucking potato monsters. Like clearly Odd isn't very good at video games, which is weird because clearly this is like a video game inspired world that they're in, because like they're talking about like his health points and stuff like that. Like it's unclear how important the game mechanics are, but they're there.
They exist.
So they're like, "We gotta escape. We gotta go down this hole, Odd." And Odd suddenly has a premonition of fake girlfriend falling down the hole, going, "No!" And he's like, and you're like, wait, he's psychic? He can see the fucking future?
He can do everything.
Nobody explained this?
My biggest question is, at what point do the Men in Black come in?
I don't know.
Oh, they've already been there. They did, apparently.
But they have to escape down the hole, so they just start running down the hole anyway. So now we cut back, and remember how I said like the teddy bear managed to somehow sneak up on Jim?
Yeah.
Now the teddy bear is like Jurassic Park 2 when the like fucking T-Rex gets let out of the cage in Manhattan, and he's just like causing terror. Like he's like walking and he's like cracking the ground. There's a scene where like they have to hide from the teddy bears. He's like flipping cars and shit, and like people are like, "What the fuck?" Like clearly people are dying. Like there's no way everybody's getting out of this okay. So they go hide in like a rec center or something entryway with like a glass door pane to get out of the way. And like as the teddy bear walks by, it literally shakes the ground 20 feet away. It's 20 feet away from them, and it literally shakes the ground hard enough with each step that it first cracks and then explodes the glass doors that they're hiding in front of or behind or whatever.
Hiding behind the glass doors.
Yeah. And you're like, hey, these people should now be cut up to shit with glass, because glass just literally exploded.
Yeah.
But then we have this really inappropriate moment where like these, like Goth Girlfriend and Ulrich are who I'm talking about here. They're like hiding after the teddy bear gets past them, and they're like accidentally bumping shoulders, and it shows them like, they like look away all cutesy and like they blush, and I'm like, inappropriate moment for the meet cute scene.
Not the time, sorry.
Like, I know what you're going for, but not
right now. Not when like a teddy bear, like not when like if I was ever in a situation where I was afraid that I was about to get destroyed by a 30-foot teddy bear, and even if I was like with a girl I was seriously macking on or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I like accidentally bumped my shoulder up with her, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed." I'd be like, "We need to get the fuck out of here. We're gonna die."
Did they ever explain why the teddy bear's after the Goth Girlfriend?
Supposedly, like that's just a thing. Like Xana's like
he just hates goth girls.
Like apparently Xana just like fucking hates existence or something, and he just like wants to watch the world burn.
He just can't stand.
So for some reason, he has the teddy bear went into the city, and now they're like, man, Odd's getting overwhelmed. So like in my mind, I'm like, okay, now they're gonna go they're gonna like run to the fucking warehouse or whatever. They're gonna hop in the machine and they're gonna help him out and they're gonna like solve the problem. But no. Goth Girlfriend and Ulrich are like, we gotta go evacuate people. And I'm like, we're like 12 steps past evacuating people. We're like calling the National Guard.
We better burn
are there any police officers?
No police. Oh, there are no police in this town. A
completely self-regulated town.
Yeah.
I'm sure that works out pretty well.
So we cut back to the CGI. Like Ulrich's like, I'm gonna go try and clear out the gymnasium where the prom is happening, and I'm like, why?
Yeah,
it's like in town. It left the school. I don't know why. And she's like, and I'm gonna do something else.
Did you also say that like there's a giant hole in the side of the wall?
Yes. In like the wall of like the school grounds, and then Jim was attacked outside the gymnasium. The teddy bear's not there. It's not at the fucking school. I don't know why he's going back to the school to evacuate people. It seems like the kids are in a pretty safe spot. They're away from the teddy bear in a secure building. as clear by the fact that they just ran into like a rec center and the teddy bear didn't care because it was just walking down the street.
Yeah, he's just trying
like, we haven't seen a whole lot of property destruction other than like in public places. So I don't know what the fuck the thought process is here.
That wasn't the right thing.
Having problems, Will?
I'll figure it out. Don't you just keep
now they're running down. So like we cut back to Odd and fake girlfriend, and they're running down this hole, and like they're having to kill. What are you looking for?
Video options.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to turn the brightness up so people could actually possibly ever see. It's in this screen somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's that one, but oh, there it is.
Oh, it's already
at max bright.
Yeah, it's max brightness.
Okay. Well, hopefully
the camera may be bad, but
I think
we can brighten it. Whatever. People
editing.
at this point, if people are still watching, they don't give a fuck about the Minecraft.
Here for the weirdness of Code Lyoko. If anybody who watches this remembers that,
yeah,
or they're going to go search it up now.
Yeah, I hope. And like, if you're watching this while I'm going with my fucking commentary, please. This is officially commentary for season 1, episode 1 of Code Lyoko.
Oh, yay!
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Please sponsor me. I will watch every single one of your episodes and do
I guess that'd be Cartoon Network, because I guess they still own the rights.
I don't know who
it must be.
We'll get into it. So they're running down this hole, right? Which has like convenient rock ramps, but it doesn't have like a bottom. It's really weird, like what the fucking dimensions of this hole. But Odd manages to kill like the 2 that are chasing him down, but Aaliyah like slips or some shit.
Yeah.
So she does the fall thing. She's like, no!
Oh yeah.
And Ulrich's like, Odd's just like, I'm gonna jump down the hole and save you. No backup plan here.
No plan.
And they just like somehow catch like a root or something on the way down, and he catches her.
That's what the tail's for.
I guess.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, sweet. I saved you. Haha, glad that we had that weird subplot where I can tell the future. And like immediately resolved, and I didn't have like, we shouldn't go down there because you might die. Like, I saw the future. Like, none of that happened. So like, I don't know why he has this power and why it was shown. I just don't understand. I don't understand why this was done. But where he saved her is conveniently a human-sized tunnel with some creepy, weird shit leading down it. And they're like, oh, clearly this is the way to the tower. And they get off into the tunnel.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And as they start walking down it, a fucking pinball machine thing starts chasing them down the tunnel. Like, it starts rolling after them. That's what I mean by, oh shit, it's Indiana Jones times. Like, it's like, Raiders of the Lost Ark, fuck! And they have to start running down this tunnel.
I think I saw this episode of Magic School Bus.
Where the fuck am I? Alright, so we cut to Ulrich. Ulrich has shown up at the prom, and he's in like his normal street clothes, and fucking Jim, the New Jersey coach, grabs him, and Jim's like, in like...
Did you see the teddy bear?
He's like in ruffled suit, and he's like, Ulrich, you look like fucking shit, boss. Why the fuck didn't you like try and put on some nice clothes or something?
At least
like put some effort into your appearance. Holy shit, man, you look fucking rough. Are you sick? Like it's fucking like he just fucking drags Ulrich.
It's like, oh, thanks, friend. I really need this right now.
And like, where the fuck was I? And during this time, remember the fucking beauty pageant subplot?
Yeah.
That is happening again.
What?
Like, now there are like 3 girls up on stage, and the principal's like, okay, kids, time to vote on who you think is the prettiest, sexiest, charmingest, most graceful girl in school. And you're just like, what the fuck? This is unlike any school dance I have ever been to.
Also,
like,
there's
if you haven't been to prom, or you haven't like
don't remember it,
or like you know, you haven't been, or you didn't go, the way that stuff is determined, it's not like a fucking beauty contest or anything like that. Like, it's just a fucking box
vote beforehand
that you put a name into. Like, 2 or 3 girls are decided by like the student council, and it's always like a popularity contest. There's nothing you can do about that. With like some nominations, and then you vote either at the dance or you vote like right beforehand, like the week beforehand. Like, there's not like, they don't get up on the stage and like have to like serenade you or tell you why they should be prom queen.
God bless America.
Yeah,
it's like they expect people to go to prom.
Like, they don't just go in and go 9/11.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is all.
You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't happen. So we cut back, and Odd and they found the tower, supposedly. And the reason we know it's infected is there's a very faint, almost imperceptible red mist aura around the tower. Like, that's what lets us know, hey, this tower
It's fucked.
So the fucking pinball that chased them out turns into a fucking death machine that shoots like a 180-degree plane laser, and Odd has to kill it by himself.
What, is this the thing from the first Incredibles movie where it just pops legs out? And
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It like pops open and it has like weird flesh bits, like weird flesh tendons that connect it, and it has like a fucking like symbol that like Odd's trying to shoot with his arrow to like fucking kill it. And they're like, fucking hurry up, Odd. Like, shit's going down out here. And Odd's like, shit's going down in here too.
Dude, I don't know what to tell you.
So, hate to break it to you, but it's not doing great here either.
We cut back to Ulrich in the fucking gym, and he like gets on the fucking mic and he steals it from like the DJ or something. And he's like, yo, we need to put this beauty pageant thing on hold. A fucking 30-foot teddy bear is outside rampaging around, and everybody's like,
the fuck? What
everybody's like, that's fucking bullshit. Like,
what drugs?
It would be their
they have like a legitimate human reaction where they're like, fuck you, dude.
I want to know. I want to vote for. I want a heads up 7-up this vote for the beauty queen.
Yeah, and like bitch is on stage, and she's like, don't listen to him. He's like trying to steal my spotlight. He doesn't want me to get elected and all that. Like, this is clearly like some sort of ploy. And we're like, that sounds reasonable, actually.
Yeah,
immediately, the fucking giant teddy bear destroys the fucking roof, and people are like, what the fuck? And like start running. We cut back. Odd is just fucking around with this death machine. Like, he keeps trying to like shoot his like hand laser or whatever, hand arrow at this fucking thing.
He's not a very good guy at his job.
And like he keeps missing, and like it keeps hitting him with like its laser thing that explodes. And like meanwhile, Nerd Guy's like, Odd, your health points keep going down. You can't suffer another attack like that. Cut back. Ulrich is like trying to outrun this bear, and like he's like about to like constantly like narrowly avoiding this bear, just like fucking turning him into a red mist. Meanwhile, Goth Girlfriend's like outside somewhere, supposedly close by, and she's just like hanging out, not doing anything.
Oh, yeah. She's smoking a cigarette outside.
Yeah, something like that. She's like, man, it would really suck to be it would really suck to be Ulrich right now.
It would really suck if I was getting my shit rammed in by a
So
teddy bear.
I'm just like, what the fuck? Like Goth Girlfriend is like fucking done real bad in this episode, and that like you're just like, this bitch doesn't do fucking anything. Is she supposed to be the hero? Like I think Ulrich is supposed to be our central protagonist, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
But like everybody else is like either weirdly incompetent or like just doesn't give a fuck.
Just like real life.
So then we cut back, and Odd somehow does like a ninja flip.
It's the cat-like reflexes.
Onto the fucking pinball machine, and it like flips around its fucking head, and he shoots it with an arrow. Bear in mind, the arrow is like maybe 6 inches long at most, and the pinball machine's like, it's like fucking like 10 feet in diameter.
Jesus Christ.
Made of metal, it looks like. And it somehow catapults 60 feet and like collides into a wall and fucking explodes. And then he's like, I did it! Alita, do your thing! I think Alita's name is the fake girlfriend, by the way. Or fake girlfriend's name is Alita.
Fake girlfriend name.
Her official name is not fake girlfriend. And she somehow, like this tower has no visible opening, so she just like melds into it and goes into like a cyberspace full of like messages and like a cylinder, and she like slowly starts walking into it and slowly flying up. Like, it takes her forever. Meanwhile, we keep coming back to Ulrich about to get fucking blasted by this fucking teddy bear, and finally Goth Girlfriend like runs in and like grabs him, and they're like shaking like, ah! And here's where the titular Code Lyoko comes in, because Alita's in the tower, and it's like recognizing. It's like on the screen. It's like recognizing user Alita, code Lyoko, and then she like flies up, and then like a fucking energy blast begins to consume both the virtual world and the fucking real world somehow. And I shit you not, they're sitting there about to get blasted by this teddy bear, and they see the white lawn coming. Ulrich turns to God's girlfriend, he's like, you ready to go back in time, Yumi? Like, it's literally like the end scene of Futurama, where like Fry and Leela have been like stuck in the time or whatever, and the professor shows up. He's like, I can solve this, but we won't be able to come back out at exactly the moment that we went in. We're gonna have to reset time a little. And he's like, what do you say? Want to go around again? Like, but like none of that actual like emotional payoff to like a series-long character arc involving these two characters. Siri just turned on.
Siri-wide.
I think he got pissed off when you said when you.
No shit, they legitimately just reverse time. Like, how is there any stakes if like as soon as we solve this problem, time is just reversed? I don't understand. Like, I don't understand the rules for like what would or would not get reversed. Because like people dying doesn't get reversed. I promise you, people died when that teddy bear was fucking ransacking the fucking city. There was like a car flipped and on fire. Like, that person's dead.
You ready to go back to normal, but with like 7 less people?
So we cut back to the very beginning of the show, and it shows Ulrich like just getting down off the ladder, and like whiny girl's like, Ulrich, do you want to go to prom with me? And I'm like, what? Okay, yeah, this is like kind of the inciting incident. This is kind of a weird thing to cut back to, right? But Ulrich's like, you know what, whiny girl? I would love to. And I'm like, what? You would like I'm like, wait, what? And everybody's just like, yeah, or like all the main characters, like only Odd, Goth Girlfriend, and Ulrich are like the main characters there, and they're like Odd and Yumi like fist bump or some shit in the background, like, yeah, Ulrich learned his lesson. I'm like, what? Like, what? And then Bitch Girl is like, what the fuck? I can't believe that just happened. And so they immediately follow up this entire thing that like kicked off because like Bitch Girl bullied Whiny Girl, and they're just like, don't worry, Bitch Girl, if you had 2 neurons or whatever in your brain, I'll ask you out too. And everybody's like, yeah, you're a dumb bitch. And I'm like, look, why are you like, yeah, she's bitchy. And like clearly like she's kind of a bully, but like what a great children's message that like what you should do when somebody's a bully is bully them harder.
Just react accordingly.
And like when Bitch Girl does it, she's the only person doing it, and everybody else is like, that's really uncool. When they bully her, everybody's like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit.
Oh God, we don't have any air.
Like, you're a bitch. And I'm like, I wouldn't like you motherfuckers either. I would be constantly bitchy if this is how you all treated me.
You're all cunts.
So that is an hour to discuss a 20-some-odd minute episode of a mid-2000s French anime.
So tell me, viewers.
Give me applause!
And here's what I want to say about this. It is crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Everything about it is like the most bizarre decision you can make at any time. But it fucking works, and I like want to watch more of this weird ass show. I cannot recommend enough that you should go watch at least this first episode. It's on like Netflix if you're in America. You just have to do it. It's fucking awesome.
Cartoon Network, hit us up for that sponsorship.
Here's the weird thing about it. I thought this show had like 26 episodes when I was a kid. You want to guess how many episodes it has?
I'm gonna guess it's like Teen Titans, where it had like 70 something of them.
It has 96.
Jesus.
Holy crap!
Followed by, I shit you not, a live action version.
There's a live action version.
There's a live action version of this show that apparently also kept the CGI when they go into like whatever the fucking weird world is.
Is he still a cat?
I don't fucking know. I would assume so.
I didn't watch it. Who the hell would watch that?
You're the one reporting on this, Keegan. You need to follow up on
I know, but so watch Code Lyoko.
Yeah.
Is my fucking
just do it.
Watch the episode titled Episode 1. I had to check after this. I was like, there's no way this is the actual first episode, right? Like, this is just like the first episode that got dubbed.
Yeah.
No.
Surprise.
Legitimately, this was the first episode ever aired of this show. So I was like, was it like a thing like they do with the BBC, where like they take the first episode that you film that's full of exposition, and the second one that's like full of action, they just flip them, so that people get caught up and then they're ready to like be invested for the second episode. Nope. The fucking prequel thing doesn't happen until the fucking 3rd season. So,
I guess the French authors were like, We should probably do something about that.
The only other French anime I know is Wakfu, and I may have to watch that after this to see if it's just as fucking bizarre.
I have no clue about that one.
Fucking watch Code Lyoko.
No, yeah, I know Code Lyoko, but I don't know Wakfu.
And if people like this podcast, I guess.
This rant. If they like this rant,
what should they do?
they should like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Please.
More videos.
I want to know.
I swear Will was here.
Yeah. Will was definitely here. He was playing this beautiful game that I have no idea what he was doing.
I hope you all like my island.
And like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.